Unlock the Miraculous REN, the prophetic name that reveals your divine purpose in 40 days. In the heart of rolling hills, nestled within a quaint English village, Sarah heard the whisper of divine mystery. Unlock the Miraculous REN. It echoed in her spirit, igniting her heart with a fervor she had never known. She had prayed, cried, and shared her unwavering faith, yet this prophetic declaration transformed her very existence. It was as if the heavens had cracked open, illuminating her life with purpose. REN, the name, became a living prayer wrapped within her soul, a beacon shining through her struggles as a devoted single mother of two. That evening, gathered around a modest kitchen table, Sarah felt a stirring deep within her, a current of divine energy as she prayed with her children. Lord, show us the way. The air thickened, charged with potency, the walls vibrated with heavenly light. A warmth enveloped her, filling her soul with courage. The children's laughter echoed like chimes in the air, and little did she know, this was merely the beginning. As Sarah set out on her 40-day journey to decipher the significance of REN, the skepticism of the village surrounded her like a dense fog. It's just a name, some would scoff, while others murmured, she's lost her mind. Yet, she clung tightly to her vision, spirit unyielding. She shared her revelation, her passion, her quest of divine mystery, but it triggered a storm of doubt that reverberated through their community, pitting tradition against faith. Heated debates ignited among neighbors, hearts hardened by differing beliefs, and Sarah found herself teetering on the edge of despair amidst the tumult. Then tragedy cast its dark shadow upon her family. Her vibrant boy, full of laughter and light, succumbed to a grave illness. Doctors fell silent, their faces drawn, hearts beaten down by despair, whispering there was little hope. In that moment, Sarah's soul trembled, the sorrow clawing at her spirit, but in the depths of her pain, she remembered tales of miraculous intervention. With a heart beating with desperate faith, she organized a prayer vigil at the chapel, her sacred sanctuary, gathering every ounce of courage to call the village to pray. The day of the vigil arrived, and the quaint chapel buzzed with the tension of hope and fear. Flickering candles illuminated weary faces of loved ones, some curious, some doubtful, all present to witness the unfolding of the divine. Sarah, kneeling before the altar, prayed with a voice barely above a whisper, beseeching God for a miracle. Then, suddenly, the air thickened, shimmering with an ethereal glow that enveloped her boy, filled with an unexplainable warmth that ignited flickering faith. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. A gasp rippled through the congregation as disbelief turned to awe. Just when despair wrapped around Sarah's heart, her boy began to stir, every gasp echoing the impossible miracle they witnessed. His eyes fluttered open, filled with life. Shouts of joy flooded the chapel, tears of gratitude soaring like incense rising to the heavens. Faith reignited as faithless hearts merged into one, unveiling the essence of REN, a declaration of love and resilience amongst them. Yet as they rejoiced, a new questions lingered. What would this divine act mean? How should she navigate this fragile faith awakened in so many? As Sarah quietly watched her village united in worship, uncertainty brewed. Would they cling to this newfound belief, or would the creeping shadows of doubt return, threatening their harmonious revival? As they bowed their heads, the journey of faith had only just begun. The days that followed the vigil were laden with both joy and trepidation. The boy, whom they once feared they would lose, was now a living testament to God's miraculous grace. In the mornings, he would bubble with stories of angels visiting him during his sickness, colorful visions of light and love that left Sarah both grateful and curious. She couldn't help but think, was her son the only one touched by this divine encounter? As whispers of the miracle spread through the village, the once doubtful hearts began to soften, nudged by something deeper and more profound than mere tradition. At the marketplace, Sarah was met with warm smiles and eager questions. How did you pray? What was it like? Is it true that REN was the key? Yet even amid this budding faith, shadows lurked, doubt, fear, and skepticism still wound tightly around the hearts of some. Keeping the light at bay. One afternoon, she stood by the old oak tree, the village kids laughing and playing nearby. Her heart swelled with gratitude, but a familiar knot twisted in her stomach. What if the miracle faded? What if the village fell back into disbelief, leaving her children to navigate a world of doubt alone? It was there, under the watchful branches, that Sarah realized she could not let fear guide her. She took a deep breath, allowing the presence of God to fill her spirit. With every inhale, she felt an inspiration rising within her, pushing her to deepen her faith, not just for herself, but for the community. REN, she whispered, feeling the name pulsate through her. With its essence igniting her purpose, she gathered a group of villagers eager to explore their faith further. They met weekly, sharing stories of hope and listening to one another's struggles, crafting a tapestry of support woven with threads of truth. They spoke not of doubts, but of miracles past, present, and future. At one of these gatherings, an elderly woman with wise eyes shared her own story. We often forget that our doubts can be a door to discovering deeper faith, she declared, her voice steady and strong. Sometimes, we misunderstand God as silence, not as absence, but as an invitation to seek harder. Throughout her life, she had danced with despair, yet every time she returned to faith, she found peace waiting for her. The room felt alive with a shared understanding, a collective heartbeat echoing through their souls. Sarah realized they were not merely learning about belief, they were witnessing a revival, a renaissance of faith that called for action. Together, they decided to take their newfound strength to the streets. They organized community prayer walks, spreading the essence of REN, inviting those who yearned for something more, something brighter. As they walked, hands intertwined, they prayed for unity. Tension in the air transformed into a gentle breeze of hope, fluttering through their fathers and mothers, weaving together their stories of trials and triumphs. The sounds of whispers floated into the heavens, mingling with laughter and joyous cries, lifting burdens into the open sky, a communal surrender to divine possibility. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues over the village, a new doubt crept in. Would this momentum hold? Would tomorrow reveal deeper shadows, or would they finally break free? Sarah's heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead. Little did she know, the deeper she delved into the mystery of REN, the more she would uncover the challenge wouldn't just be keeping faith alive, but also acknowledging the inner battles stirring within each of them. The quest for purpose had transformed not only her life but was now about to shape the destiny of the village. But as always, the question lingered: what monumental miracle might unfold next, even in their darkest hour? The days turned into a swirl of excitement and fervor. As the villagers joined Sarah in her mission to delve deeper into their faith, a palpable shift began to take place. Their prayer walks became a nightly ritual, and each step resonated with a deeper purpose. The rhythmic echoes of their prayers were like heartbeats, uniting them as they trod upon the familiar paths of their village, paths that now felt enchanted, almost sacred. Among the villagers was a man named Thomas, a stout figure with calloused hands and a worn face etched with skepticism. He was known for his bluntness, living with a heavy load of questions that seemed to weigh down his spirit. The other villagers respected him but often tread lightly around his beliefs. At one of the gatherings, as the group marveled at REN's power to ignite hope, Thomas cleared his throat, his voice emboldened by a mix of frustration and longing. "How can you believe in something you can't see?" he challenged, eyes clutching onto Sarah's with a quizzical intensity. "What proof do we have that this REN truly guides us?" A hush fell over the room. Some nodded, others held their breath, waiting. Sarah felt the weight of the question. Thomas was right, and yet, she sensed the beauty in faith, a belief not based on sight but on feeling. Inspired, she spoke softly, "Sometimes, Thomas, we don't need to see the path laid before us. We just need to take the first step." The room's silence shifted to murmurs of agreement. A warmth filled the air, wrapping them in a collective understanding of the challenge, vibrantly cascading down into each heart. As the days melted into weeks, a curiosity ignited among the villagers. They began to discover stories beyond their reality, the stories of God as promises revealed in unexpected places. One elderly widow, Anna, shared how she had prayed for a new beginning. Just that week, she found an old friend who had once left the village in despair. They reconciled, and soon, others followed suit. God is moving. Anna exclaimed with a spark in her eyes that seemed to light up the room, and in this atmosphere of awakening, every gathering felt like a picnic in the bright summer sun, joy spilling over from their shared desire to seek truth. Her faith was contagious, it was spreading like wildflowers in spring. But even as hope blossomed, shadows lingered at the edges. Doubt, Thomas's question, hovered like a dark cloud, threatening to rain on their newfound joy. Then one day, as they gathered for their prayer walk, a sudden stillness enveloped the group. The air trembled with an electric anticipation. They sensed it, a moment of divine engagement ripe for the taking. Sarah suggested they pause and listen, really listen, for God's voice. In that quiet, the unthinkable happened. What started as uncertain whispers began to crescendo into an echoing conviction. A child's laugh soon transformed into an adult's shout of praise. As they stood together, hand in hand, they all felt a cohesion that drew them closer not just to each other but to the divine. Each villager began to share personal revelations. They spoke of miracles little and large manifesting daily since they began seeking the light of REN. Then, unexpectedly, Thomas stood up, his brow furrowed with genuine contemplation. Maybe, he began slowly, faith isn't about proof. Maybe it's about trusting something beyond ourselves. At that moment, a ripple of change washed over the group. If even Thomas could feel the stirrings of hope, then perhaps they were onto something truly miraculous. But in the quiet aftermath, a chilling thought rippled through Sarah's mind. If they were all changing, what would it mean for those still holding on to doubts? Would the village unite under REN, or would it fracture under the weight of conflict? As sunlight filtered through the leaves above, the village stood on the brink of transformation. Sarah felt it in her bones, a divine potential blossoming beneath them. But love and skepticism often clash, and the true test of faith lay ahead. Could they come together in unity to embrace the miracles unfolding, or would doubt once again sow discord? The air was thick with anticipation, leaving Sarah wondering what God had planned next in this intricate tapestry of faith and humanity. What profound question might arise to challenge their newfound understanding of REN? And how might that shape their shared destiny? In the days that followed, the prayer walks took on a new energy. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the villagers gathered with an unspoken excitement. They felt the whispers of something grand and unseen, filling the spaces between their breaths. Sarah led them with a gentle confidence that inspired comfort. As they walked, the village glowed brighter with shared hope, and the air felt thick with divine presence. Thomas, steadfast yet intrigued, was finding moments of solace in the gatherings. The dialogue shifted. It wasn't just about questions anymore but also about exploration. Could faith be an adventure? He pondered, his brow relaxing. His heart began responding to the faith of the community around him, like flowers reaching for the morning sun. One evening, as they trekked along the riverbank, the group stopped, interrupted by a resonant silence. It felt heavier than before. Sarah sensed the weight of unspoken thoughts. "Let us take this time to offer our burdens to REN," she urged softly. Around them, villagers began to open up in ways they hadn't before. One by one, they confessed their fears, their worries, and their doubts. Each candid admission felt like stones being lifted from weary shoulders. "I've been afraid of losing my job," a young man voiced quietly. "What if I fail?" Another spoke of illness that had gripped her family. As they unburdened their hearts, something beautiful blossomed. The gentle hum of communal prayer enveloped them, a rising chorus of vulnerability and strength. The atmosphere shifted. With each testimony, the air buzzed with palpable energy, lifting their spirits as if they were rising on the wings of angels. Sarah looked around, feeling the connection amongst them. "Faith means sharing each other's load," she said, her voice steady and encouraging. "We're not alone in this. REN walks with us through the dark times. And then, like a spark igniting a flame, something happened. A stirring wind began to rustle through the trees, carrying with it the faintest scent of blossoms. It felt as if nature itself was rejoicing in their confessions. Thomas, feeling a warmth bloom in his chest, turned to the others. What if this is proof? The words tumbled lightly from his lips. What if the changes within us are the beginnings of something extraordinary? As they stood together, faces bright with hope, a sudden light burst through the trees, illuminating the river like a golden ribbon. Gasps of awe echoed. They stood frozen, entranced by the miraculous sight unfolding before their eyes. Sarah closed her eyes and prayed fervently. Thank you for revealing your glory, REN. We are often blind to your beauty until we recognize the light in our unity. The villagers joined in, voices rising like the ripple of water. It was pure, unfiltered praise, swelling into crescendo, but as their joy flourished, doubt still lingered. As their faith expanded, could it withstand challenges yet to come? Would they remain steadfast against storms that could bring old fears washing ashore? Within Thomas brewed a renewed determination, but shadows of uncertainty still taunted him. The gathering ended, but the village felt charged, alive with divine possibility. As they dispersed, each villager carried that sacred light home with them. Sarah lingered behind, her heart full yet questioning. What awaits us on this path? And what stronger tests lie ahead? She looked up to the sky, almost pleading. Mysteries lingered, and the night air shimmered with the promise of revelations to come. How would they defend their unity against the inclinations of old doubts? And would the strength of their faith inspire transformation beyond their village, reaching hearts far and wide? The days turned into weeks, yet the spirit of the village remained ignited. Each evening, as the vibrant glow of twilight embraced them, the villagers found themselves drawn together with the same fervor they had felt that first night by the river. Somehow, the stillness of the evenings had transformed into a symphony of shared hopes and dreams, echoing in their hearts like a gentle whisper from heaven. One day, as they gathered again beside the flowing river, Sarah looked at their faces. They glowed under the warm light of the setting sun, but there was a new intensity in their eyes. Tonight, let us delve deeper, she encouraged, her voice calm yet firm. Let us be brave enough to dream together. As they formed a circle, a fresh anticipation washed over them, filling the space with an almost tangible energy. Thomas felt a twinge of apprehension, that familiar whisper of doubt creeping back. Yet the infectious enthusiasm of his fellow villagers pulled him in. What if dreaming is part of our journey? He thought, surrendering to the collective courage that enveloped them. I've always wanted to travel and see the world, a young woman admitted softly. Her voice trembled slightly, but as she spoke, the room filled with warmth. Others began to nod. One by one, they shared dreams they had tucked away, fanciful wishes buried under layers of practicality. I want to start a community garden, another voiced. To feed neighbors who struggle. Each dream mixed with another, creating vibrant threads of possibility that bound them closer together. Their dreams floated into the air, climbing higher like smoke from a fire, drawing down something greater. There was an awakening of spirits, an undeniable stirring within the collective heart of the village. Sarah paused, listening to the even rhythm of their voices, then raised her hands as if to catch the dreams spilling over. REN has given us the gift of vision, she declared, her eyes bright with inspiration. With every dream shared, we ignite a fire that can create change. We are no longer just dreamers, we are visionaries. Her passion rippled through the gathered crowd, kindling a spark in Thomas' heart, but a sudden wind picked up, swirling around them, almost like a protective embrace of the divine. Thomas felt a rush, a lift, but also an unsettling tremor somersault through his gut. What if they discovered great dreams only to face equally great challenges? The conflicting pull of hope and doubt churned within him. Do not lean into fear, a wise old man whispered from the back, his voice steady as he spoke. Every great journey is fraught with uncertainty. But it is through these uncertainties that our faith is tested. The room fell quiet as the weight of his words hung in the air, wrapped in a sense of solemnity. Let us dream. And let us be prepared to stand together against the waves. Sarah exclaimed, her enthusiasm breaking through the heaviness like sunrise breaking the night. The villagers erupted in a chorus of agreement, igniting an atmosphere thick with collective resolve, yet, in the back of Thomas' mind, remnants of uncertainty lingered. Would this newfound courage withstand the trials approaching? How strong was the tether binding their dreams to reality? The night deepened, and as they finished their prayers, a breathtaking serenity settled over them, amplifying the overwhelming sense of possibility coursing through every heart. Just then, a brilliant star shot across the sky, leaving a luminous trail, a divine reminder of purpose against darkness. With their hearts alight, they walked home under that enchanting night sky, but Thomas lingered behind, staring up at the vast cosmos. What awaits us in the shadows of our dreams? He wondered dramatically, uncertainty knitting itself back into the fabric of his heart. His questions hung suspended in the air, mingling with the light, and with every breath, the promise of transformation danced just out of reach. What revelations were waiting to unfold in the heart still hidden beneath their own doubts? As the villagers returned to their homes, the moon cast a silver glow on the path, illuminating their steps. Thomas, still mesmerized by the starry sky, couldn't shake off the feeling that something profound was on the horizon. He could sense the energy of dreams swirling around him, tethered together by a common hope, but also by an unspoken fear of what lay ahead. Days passed, and the air grew thick with expectation. Each evening, like clockwork, the villagers gathered beside the river, sharing stories and laughter while whispers of inspiration carried their hearts aloft. Yet, Thomas noticed a change within himself, a quiet yet persistent yearning. Not just to dream but to seek the purpose behind those dreams. One evening, Sarah announced, "Tonight, we will invite a deeper understanding of our hearts. Let us meditate and seek guidance." The villagers settled down, forming a circle once more, but this time the air felt different, charged with sacred anticipation. Sarah closed her eyes, focusing on the serene ripples of the river. "Breathe deeply," she encouraged, her voice soft yet resonant. "Let the waters wash away the debris of doubt and fear. Open your hearts to receive what REN might reveal." As they breathed in the soothing air, Thomas felt his heart race. He was hesitant, wrestling with his swirling thoughts. What if I am meant to lead? What if my dreams aren't just for me? But fear clawed at the edges of his spirit, urging him to remain in the shadows. In that sacred silence, something began to awaken. A soft voice within urged him to let go. Gradually, Thomas opened himself up to the stillness around him, yearning for vision, for clarity. As he did, an overwhelming warmth enveloped him, filling the gaps where doubt had taken residence. The world felt vibrant, the simple rustle of grass, the gentle lapping of the river, even the distant laughter of children seemed to sing of possibility, of purpose. Others began to share their revelations. A man spoke of an idea for a festival that would celebrate the village's unity. "What if we create an event that draws people from far and wide to share in our journey?" His eyes sparkled with enthusiasm, igniting a fire within the group. Another woman, her voice trembling, shared her vision of a healing space, a sanctuary for those in need of comfort. The congregation responded with a chorus of yes, their hopes intertwining like vines reaching for sunlight. With every revelation, Thomas felt a tug at the core of his being. Could he weave these dreams into a tapestry of purpose? He looked around, witnessing the transformation in his neighbors, their eyes shimmering with desire and resolve. He wondered if they too harbored fears, hidden under layers of courage as he did. Perhaps our true calling lies not just in dreaming, but in nurturing these visions together, he thought. An unmistakable call echoed within him. It was time to set aside fears and embrace the journey ahead. But just as hope swelled in his heart, the wind picked up again, a reminder that the path forward was not without challenges. The revelation whispered softly yet firmly, urging him, what if fear molds courage rather than shattering it? As the meditation faded into prayer, and they held hands in unity, a bright flash erupted in the sky, splitting the night, a sign of promise. Collective gasps echoed, and Thomas's heart raced. Is this the moment? He thought that he closed his eyes and let himself be consumed by the moment, surrendering to the possibilities swirling around him. What if the true miracle was not just the realization of dreams but the fearless pursuit of them? As the villagers returned their gaze to the twinkling stars, their spirits soared, illuminated by hope. Thomas felt a stir of anticipation. Could there be a deeper calling for each of us hidden within those stars? He pondered as they made their way home, questions lingering like the faintest glow of dawn. What might unfold as they ventured deeper into the mysteries of their lives, standing for the faith they had so fiercely embraced. The journey of revelation had only just begun. The night air was thick with possibility, each breath a reminder of the sacred moments that had gathered like stars in the expansive sky. As the villagers walked homeward, Thomas felt a shift within his heart, a quiet insistence that beckoned him ever closer to truth. Each step he took felt imbued with purpose, a longing that whispered, "You are not just a dreamer, you are a keeper of the dreams." When morning light broke the horizon, illuminating the village in hues of golden warmth, Thomas awoke with a sense of urgency. He couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary awaited him beyond the familiar routines of everyday life. He quickly dressed and made his way to the riverbank, where the water flowed with a gentle grace, mirroring the fluttering hope in his chest. "Lord, what do you wish to reveal to me?" He breathed softly, his voice barely louder than the rustling leaves. As he knelt by the river, he closed his eyes and opened his heart to the stillness around him. In that moment, he felt the world fall away, the constant hum of doubt, the fear of inadequacy. Each thought was drowned by the river's song, a melody of faith and love flowing endlessly. A sudden splash startled him, and his eyes snapped open. There, in the water, glimmering under the sunlight, was a small, shining stone. Thomas felt a pull, urging him to retrieve it. He reached into the cool water and lifted the stone to his chest. How smooth it felt, as if polished by the very currents of destiny. As he held it, an image flashed in his mind, a tapestry woven from the dreams of the villagers, a beautiful representation of their shared journeys. It was a vivid reminder that they were all connected, each thread a life intertwined, echoing the call to come together for something greater. Excited, Thomas made his way back to the village, the stone clutched tightly in his palm. He felt compelled to gather the villagers, to share his vision of unity. They needed to know that their hopes for festivals and sanctuaries were not mere ideas but divine seeds waiting to blossom. "Friends," he called out, his voice steady, "I believe we are being drawn together for a purpose beyond ourselves. Let us create an event, a time to celebrate our community and share our dreams. We cannot let fear hold us back." The energy around him crackled, a palpable shift in the atmosphere, as villagers began to gather, intrigued by his fervor. One by one, they stepped forward, echoing his excitement. An elder spoke of combining their stories with music, of sharing laughter alongside tears, the perfect blend of their lives. A group of children, sensing the contagious energy, began to dance, their innocent joy a reminder of the lightness of spirit that often gets lost in adulthood. Every idea sparked new possibilities. Thomas watched in awe, the bright stone still warm in his hand, realizing it had become a symbol of their collective vision. Just then, a dark cloud drifted overhead, casting shadows over the gathering. Murmurs of uncertainty swept through the crowd. Fear crept back in, a familiar voice saying, "What if we fail? What if we can't come together like this?" But the courage ignited by their dreams wrestled against that doubt. "We are meant for more than this moment of fear," Thomas asserted, raising the stone high. "Let our faith shine brighter than any shadow." With that declaration, a spark sparked a fire, a deep collective breath took hold, rising like the sun breaking through the dark clouds. They stood united, a tapestry of hearts beating as one, yet, as Thomas looked upward at the retreating darkness, a deeper question lingered. What will it take to fully embrace our destiny? His heart raced with the weight of that challenge, as a new adventure awaited just on the horizon, waiting to unfold what revelations would emerge as they all bravely stood together, ready to confront the fears that so often hold them back. The path to discovery was just beginning. As the sun climbed higher, casting a joyful light upon the village, the spirit of hope swirled around Thomas and the gathered villagers. The weight of the dark cloud overhead began to fade as laughter bubbled among them, a bubbling brook of delight that pushed aside the murkiness of doubt. Thomas could see it in their eyes, the flicker of faith reigniting in their hearts. "Let us gather by the old oak tree," he suggested, pointing to the grand tree standing proudly near the center of the village. Its roots, strong and deep, had withstood many storms, much like the souls of the villagers. It was there that they would root their dreams, grounding them into the fabric of their shared existence. As they moved toward the tree, a sense of excitement danced in the air, weaving through them like a gentle breeze. Each villager approached carrying their own dreams and stories, a tapestry of hopes and desires. The children ran ahead, their laughter ringing like bells, beckoning others to follow their lead toward joy. Once assembled beneath the sprawling branches, Thomas felt the moment shift. It was time to share the vision he held within him. "Look around you," he began, his voice steady yet warm. "This oak has witnessed generations. Its branches, holding countless stories, reflect our own. Together, we can weave our dreams into something magnificent, just as this tree has done." An elder stepped forward, her face creased with wisdom and weariness. "But Thomas," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "what if we can't agree? What if our dreams clash?" Her question hung in the air like a fragile feather, delicate yet significant. A shiver ran through the crowd, but Thomas felt a surge of assurance bubble within him. "Even the strongest trees bend in the wind. We can weather any storm by listening to one another. Every dream adds to our community. Each voice matters." Nods of agreement rippled through the crowd, warming Thomas's heart. It was then that the stone he had found glowed faintly in his pocket, a silent reminder of the very essence of their collective dreams. "Let us not be afraid," he called out, bending down to place the stone at the foot of the oak. "Today, we plant our dreams, just as this tree grows from the earth." A ripple of energy moved through the villagers as they each found their place, standing close to the mighty tree. Some brought small offerings, a piece of fabric, a drawing, a poem, each representing a dream, a festival celebrating their culture, a healing circle for those in need, spaces for creativity and laughter. As they placed their offerings at the base of the tree, a warmth began to spread, wrapping around them like a familiar embrace. The air shimmered, almost electric, filling Thomas with an indescribable joy. He sensed the communion they were establishing was something sacred, a moment in time that would echo through the days to come. Suddenly, a whisper seemed to ripple through the leaves above them, a gentle reminder of the power of unity. Thomas closed his eyes and offered a prayer to the Lord, thanking him for this gathering, for the dreams being shared, and for the sense of purpose that surged within each heart. Then, amidst the laughter and plans, Thomas felt a pull, a deep need to discover more. "What if," he began, "this is just the beginning? What if we're called to seek beyond what we can see?" His voice trailed off, new thoughts spinning in his mind like the wheels of an ancient cart. "What do you mean?" a curious villager asked, tilting her head with interest. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "the true adventure lies not only in what we create but in what we are about to uncover together. What if there are greater mysteries waiting for us? What if, as we share our dreams, we begin to unlock something deeper?" A hush fell over the gathering. The weight of exploration hung in the air, and hearts quickened with anticipation. Each villager sensed that this was only the stirrings of something much larger than themselves. What revelations would unfold on this journey they hadn't yet imagined? What divine connections awaited them in the embrace of their united dreams? The answers beckoned like a lighthouse across a foggy sea, drawing them toward an extraordinary horizon yet to be revealed. As the murmurs of curiosity passed through the gathering, Thomas felt a deep stirring in his spirit. The air hung thick with anticipation, as if the very heavens were holding their breath. The villagers looked at one another, and in their eyes, he saw the flicker of courage mingling with a touch of trepidation. "Imagine," he said, his voice rising slightly, echoing against the sturdy trunk of the oak. "What if we are meant to uncover a purpose that surpasses our own understanding? This is not merely about us, it's a journey that connects our hearts, our stories, and our faith in profound ways." The elder who had first questioned him nodded slowly, intrigue evident in her expression. "And how do we do that, Thomas? How do we begin to seek these mysteries together?" He glanced at the stone at the base of the tree, its remarkable glow now pulsing gently, as if alive with promise. "We must first share our hearts," he replied, "and listen intently to the Spirit guiding us. Let each dream be a key that unlocks our collective destiny. Let us express our hopes, fears, and the paths we yearn to explore." A collective sigh rippled through the crowd, blending excitement with hesitation. Slowly, one by one, villagers began to step forward. A young girl with golden hair shyly held out a small drawing she had created, a colorful depiction of a festival, where joy poured like sunshine over their community. "Let this festival bring us together, spreading happiness to every heart," she said, her voice stealing the breath of those around her. Another villager, a soft-spoken man often overlooked, shared his vision of a circle of healing, a place where the wounded could mend together. "It's important," he murmured, "that we recognize the pain among us, and provide comfort in our unity." Each contribution sparked a radiant energy among them, resonating deep within the soul of the village. There was infectious enthusiasm as more dreams emerged, a garden of creativity, teaching workshops, gatherings of laughter and song. As dreams flowed freely, the warm glow surrounding the stone began to intensify, bathing everyone in a golden light. It was as if the oak, their steadfast companion, was cherishing these offerings. Thomas felt the weight of their collective hopes rise into the ether, merging with something far beyond their understanding. The elder spoke again, now filled with vigor. "But what next? What guide will lead us through the unfathomable mysteries?" Thomas's heart thumped with excitement. "It won't be just one guide, it will be each of us. We will support and challenge one another. Through this sharing, we will uncover a divine purpose together. Every story shared, every prayer offered, is a step into the unknown." Then, a gentle breeze whispered through the branches above, as if the universe itself responded to their gathering intentions. The leaves rustled, sending shivers down their spines, yet Thomas felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The villagers now stood together, their hands clasped, eyes united in a singular purpose. "Let us pray," he encouraged, "that we may be guided towards what God wishes to reveal." They bowed their heads in quiet reverence, each heart beating with the rhythm of faith, knitting them closer together. As they prayed, something miraculous began to stir in the air, the shimmering light deepened around the stone, revealing a flicker of something extraordinary. What was it that lay hidden beneath that soft glow? In the stillness that followed, a question hung amongst them, a tantalizing whisper. What secrets might this journey unfold, and how would their combined faith lead them to the unimaginable? As the villagers opened their eyes, a sense of awe enveloped them. Thomas, filled with an inexplicable thrill, felt an energy coursing through his veins. The sacred stone at the base of the old oak pulsed as if resonating with their collective heartbeat. Could this truly be the beginning? He breathed, glancing toward the expectant faces surrounding him. Each villager held a flame of curiosity, and it burned brightly, their spirits aflame with purpose. They felt unanchored in the possibilities ahead, yet rooted in their collective faith. Drawing courage from his own heart, Thomas stood tall. "Let us see this journey as a tapestry, each thread representing our unique contributions. Together, we will create something magnificent," he proclaimed, his voice ringing with conviction. Murmurs of agreement flitted through the crowd, an undertone of excitement rising with each moment. An old woman approached, her eyes gleaming with wisdom. "But what if we encounter storms?" she asked softly. "What if our dreams clash?" "Ah," Thomas replied, "like this oak, we may bend and sway, but we will not break. With each challenge, we grow stronger. Through unity, there is resilience." As he spoke, Sarah stepped forward, her heart brimming with gratitude. "Not only have we found our own purpose, but together, we can uplift this village. Together, we can build bridges of kindness and nurture all that is beautiful." Joy erupted among them, laughter echoing through the trees. The villagers began to share more of the visions they held close. A youth spoke of a gathering designed to celebrate their diverse talents, while another shared plans for a festival dedicated to love, healing, and remembrance. The intertwining of voices resonated as they wove their hopes together, like threads stitched into a grand quilt. In that moment, they realized that their dreams were not isolated, they were interconnected, reflecting the very essence of the kingdom of God. As twilight settled in, the soft golden hues painted the evening sky, and a warm wind swept through the gathering. It felt like a divine caress. The villagers paused, sensing the presence of something far greater than themselves. In unison, they whispered prayerful gratitude, voices woven with reverence. "REN, guide us." They echoed, their hearts eager and expectant. In that sacred silence, an ethereal light burst forth from the stone, a glimmer, brilliant and pure. Gasps filled the air as the light revealed delicate patterns swirling around them, an intricate dance of colors and forms, painting their dreams upon the canvas of the night. "A miracle!" someone exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. "We are seeing." As if on cue, the stars twinkled brighter above, as if expressing joy over their unity. Low murmurs spread among them, hearts heard, stories validated. This was more than a gathering, it was a manifestation of divine purpose. "Let us make a pledge," Thomas declared, taking their hands in a circle. "Together, we will face fear. We will embrace our uncertainties because with God, our tapestry is blessed." Nods of agreement resounded, and their lives intertwined that night, leaving imprints of sincere love. "Let us celebrate our first festival," someone suggested, excitement bubbling in their hearts. "A day to honor our creativity and connection." "Absolutely." Thomas cheered, sensing the thrill in the air. The moment was alive with hope. With plans set in motion, they spent the weeks leading up to the festival, sharing stories, offering support, and building a collective dream. Each villager contributed, whether it was food or song, laughter, or dance. The celebration took shape like a butterfly breaking free from its chrysalis, vibrant and beautiful. The day arrived, and the village buzzed with joy under the warm sun. The air was electric with hope, a harmony of laughter, music, and whispered blessings. As villagers gathered under the mighty oak, they couldn't help but marvel at the culmination of their efforts. Thomas stood before the crowd, his heart swelling with pride and love for his community. "We stand today not as individuals, but as one. This festival is a testament to our faith, our dreams, and our unity." His voice soared into the heavens, each syllable echoed back in loud cheer. As enchanting songs filled the air, Sarah took her children's hands, her heart buoyant with joy. She watched the villagers dance, their spirits lifted, miracles happening all around. In that moment, with laughter blending with the whispers of the wind, they discovered the essence of REN pulsing through every breath, an unfolding miracle pointing and leading to divine purpose. The once skeptical Thomas smiled, feeling the warmth of hope unmarred by doubt, knowing they have breached the threshold of a new understanding. This journey spurred something within, blossoming not only in the villagers' hearts but in his soul, a profound revelation of faith's power. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting hues of pink and gold across the sky, deep gratitude coursed through them. It was a reminder that fabulous storms often bring forth the most brilliant flowers. The village was transformed, united at the core. Together, they were a manifestation of hope, faith, and love, bathed in divine grace. And they would continue walking together, step by step, deeply grounded in the truth that they were meant for great things, forever anchored to their purpose, a sacred tapestry woven with the colors of their dreams. As the festival continued, their hearts blossomed with unattainable peace. They would leave behind a legacy of belief that would continue to kindle the hearts of generations to come. Will you join in this journey? Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to nourish the algorithm. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending, we want to hear from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support. The only true servants of God understand the importance of lifting each other in faith and love. Don't wait even one more second.